Okay. Hello, guys, and welcome to my latest live stream. Let me just get my fat head in the camera view. Welcome to my latest live stream. Haven't done one for about a week, so I thought it was time to just pop on camera and say hello to everybody at the UK Resellers Facebook group and obviously here on YouTube. Thank you for everyone that's subscribing as well. It's really cool to see this channel growing slowly but steadily. And basically it's going to be another one of my sales reports, so I'm going to just go through a few of the items that I've sold within the past week since my last one, and just to tell you a bit about them, just talk to you a bit about them. I hope everyone's sales are going well. Things have started to the kind of sputtering is the best way to put it. It's not, we're not in the obviously full swing of the fourth quarter yet, and I'm very excitedly looking forward to it. Very excitedly to see whether I can achieve the kind of sales I'd hope to be able to achieve. So I'm really looking forward to things getting busier and busier, and here's I hope everyone else has a good fourth quarter of sales as well. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to switch over to the webcam view with the with my what's it called in the background, the web page in the background, and once I've done that, let's have a look. Bear with me just one moment. Once I've done that, I'll be able to just go through some of the stuff I've sold. Obviously, it'd be great if anyone starts watching the stream. If you've got any questions or comments, I will be very happy to do that. Currently, what is this? Not being sent often enough. The current keyframe frequency. What is this about keyframe? What? Keyframe settings, 4 or less. Oh god. Why don't I ever check these things before I stream? It's on 0. My keyframe it's on auto. Well, you know what? It's just gonna have to deal with it, to be honest with you. It's just gonna have to deal with it. Hope the stream's working okay. It seems to be working okay anyway. If it's not, then we'll find out at the end of it. Anyway, guys, like I said, I'm going to switch to the webcam and monitor view, and as if by magic, here we are. So, like I said, I'm just going to go through a few of my recent sales since my last week's sales report, and tell you a bit about them. Now, first item we've got here is actually just Gears of War on the Xbox 360. The difference with this one, as you can see, is this is a still sealed, and it's an NTSC-J version, so it's like a Japanese type version of the game. So it only work on an NTSC-J console. Now I only paid £2 for this, and the seal is damaged along the spine. However, the seal which keeps the game together was still perfect, and then because of that I was able to still get decent money for it. Like I said, I only paid £2 and I ended up accepting an offer. I think I had it up for £15.89, but I sold it for just under that. Probably I think it was like the £12 or £13 mark. I was pretty happy with that. It was a nice, simple, easy sale for me to make. And something that I've noticed really is that you don't need to necessarily be asking top dollar and waiting for top dollar. I'm kind of trying to churn through the sales a lot quicker. Just get through them a bit quicker so that I can just invest the money again. So that's the idea of it. So accepting slightly lower offers isn't always the worst thing in the world. Next item, this is quite an interesting one. This is actually a vintage Mathmos lava lamp. Now, the bottle that it came with was damaged. Like the lava wasn't actually working. I think it had lost some liquid. There'd definitely been a leak because there was all this kind of crud at the top of the bottle of the lava lamp, and there was like an oil type stains on the actual box as well. So what I did was I decided to sell it just the base and the cone along with the box and the manual. Now I believe that's what's given it the value, because I had it up for £59.99. I think in the end I accepted an offer of £35 or £40, and I think it went to Australia. So pretty good sale. I'm very happy with that. considering I paid £6 for this at the boot fair, so very happy with that. So vintage Mathmos Telstar. You can buy new bottles as well for about 20 something pounds from Mathmos's website, but I thought rather than invest significantly more money into something that I've only paid £6 for, to get a better return. Admittedly, I mean, I could have probably asked for £70, £80 had I bought a new bottle, but the effort of it and then the weights and all that kind of stuff put me off. So I was more than happy just to kind of sell the base, and just to sell the just to sell it like that, really sell it with as a base and cone. And that was my next sale. Okay, this frequency thing is bothering me. I'm hoping it is working okay. Bad video settings. Use keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. Well, I hope it's working okay. If it's not working, then I'd hope someone would say something. Anyway, moving along, let's go to the next item that I sold. Next item was a set of 3 Harry Potter games. Now, I picked these up from a boot fair. I think I paid £2 for the 3 of them. These are the kinds of games that sometimes get left behind because people are often just after, the more popular GameCube games. So this is for the Nintendo GameCube. People have got kind of laser vision out for the Mario Karts and the Mario Sunshines and the Zeldas and the Pokemon games. And Harry Potter games don't necessarily command that much. As you can see, I bought these for £2, but I managed to sell them for £13.77. So still not a bad flip. Nice and simple, nice and easy. Okay, next item. This was another boot fair pickup for me. And this is Hogs of War, the Best of Infogrames version, not the black label, unfortunately, which would be nice. But Hogs of War is a very popular game. It was first brought to my attention by Nick Hills, as usual. But yeah, very popular PlayStation 1 game. I mean, a good idea is if you're not familiar with video games, or if you're not familiar with what was popular, say you may have been a Nintendo fan, or a Sega fan, or a Sony fan, and you're not necessarily aware of what the valuable items are on each console, what I suggest you do is you go into, just type in PS1 game or whatever, go to the sold listings, and just go from the most expensive to the cheapest, and try to just scroll down and have a look and see which games are commanding the silly money, and you'll quickly see which games command like good money. So for example, I think there's a game called Tombi which commands really good money. There's games like Super Pan Collection, which I've sold in the past, command decent money, like £40-50 plus. Tombi's a lot more than that. There are some games which can command like over £100 comfortably, and it's good to just have that mental note. So just go into eBay search, type in PlayStation 1 game, type in Dreamcast game, or whatever you want to type in, really, Mega Drive game, and just look for filter the search by the ones which have sold for the most money. Obviously you'll get a lot of bundles and things coming up at first, but when you spot your first single game that sold for like £80-90, then you'll know, that's one that I should definitely keep my eye open for. This one obviously isn't so valuable. I had it up for 18, I think I sold it for £14, but still I didn't pay much for it. It was a boot fair purchase, so pretty happy with that nonetheless. Moving along. Now this item here is a pair of Hollister jeans. This came to me ages ago, and by ages I mean early in the year, like February or something. I bought this as a bundle of jeans from an auction. There's a lot of auctions around which sell used clothes as well as selling the regular other items, and used clothes at auctions can actually work out to be better than sifting through clothes at a boot fair, because you tend to get better quality items, I found, and they're not too expensive to buy in lots, so you can buy bags of clothes relatively cheaply, and all you need is a couple of good items from each bag, and you've done really well. And here's an example of that. I mean, I don't know what I accepted. I think I accepted like a lower offer, like £15-16, just because I had these for a long time. But these are men's Hollister blue jeans, waist 33, leg 32. I could have ironed them, should have ironed them really, but you can see they're a bit creased up in the photo, but still they sold for okay money. Not too bad. Not gonna complain too much. Alright, let's have a look. Next item. Now, this is one of my favourite things to sell. I love selling these because um, they're very easy to sell, really. There's VCRs. So this is a Sony SLV SE810. This is not the most popular model. It's amongst the cheaper of the videos. It's probably the cheapest I will sell a video for. And the cool thing about videos is they're very abundant, and lazy people won't buy them. If you're at a boot fair and you're carrying a bunch of items and you're tired, the last thing you probably want to do is to pick up a quite a heavy, bulky VCR, which you don't know whether it's going to work or not. And the hassle of it. My tip would be, if you see a Sony VCR, if you see a Panasonic VCR, have a good look at it. And if it looks like it's a feature-rich model, like if it's got a higher number on the model's scale, it's worth picking up. Most of the time they will work. I've this year, out of all the videos that I've purchased, I think about two or three of the videos that I purchased, VCRs that I purchased, were faulty. And when you consider that most often you're not paying more than £5 for one, you can kind of tolerate it because the returns on them are very good. So like I said, £30 is more along the bottom end of the scale of what I'll sell a VCR for. I've sold Sony VCRs for £60, £70, £50, whatever. That tends to be like the more decent price that you can achieve on them. So £30 is not amazing, but bearing in mind I would have paid like £2-3 for this, tops a fiver, it's still very good return on investment, and I really can't complain. The cool thing is also, sorry, another thing to bear in mind is when you're buying them, make sure you have the remote control. That without the remote control, it does affect the value quite drastically, so bear that in mind. Okay, next item is a bunch of camera film. Now, camera film is definitely something that you should keep an eye out for. And the reason why I say that is because it's in demand still. I think I picked up this lot of film for about £2. I had it up for 17. I think I accepted an offer of 12, something like that. So nice easy sale. It sold very quickly within a few days of it being up for sale. So can't complain. Something to keep an eye out for when you're at the old boot fair. Okay. Next item. Now this is quite a nice sale. Things like this often get overlooked because, again, people aren't necessarily as aware of them. I don't think you're going to find an item like this regularly, but it's still worth knowing that there's value in these, and it's an external sound card. Now, Creative are like a very big name when it comes to PC sound cards. They do a range of internal and external sound cards, and they normally have like Sound Blaster written on them somewhere. And this is the Sound Blaster Audigy 2. It's quite an older model, however it's pretty much new. I found it in a box of stuff a couple of weeks back. It was just, it didn't look in great shape. It had a bit of storage wear to the packaging, but everything was mint, complete, unused, great condition. It was pretty much new, really, just once the packaging had been just wiped clean, because obviously where it had been stored. And I think I paid £2 for this, and it sold comfortably. I think I was asking 50, but I think I accepted 35. Probably could have held out for a bit more, but again, I'm trying to kind of just keep a turnover going. So from £2 to £35 is a good flip. So that went pretty well. Okay. Now this is something I've not thought about picking up before, but there is definitely a market for, and that is regular Freeview set-top boxes. Now this is an old Sony model. Now I remember when these were first launched, these were quite pricey. I believe this was one of the high-end models of Freeview box when Freeview was first introduced in the UK. So when digital terrestrial broadcasting was introduced in the UK, a lot of people had TVs without Freeview tuners, and so they used to go out and buy Freeview boxes. And at one point, Freeview boxes were as cheap as like £15-20, and this was one of the top end models. This was about £120 brand new, and it's a Sony VTX D800. Picked it up for £2, which is again a steal. Now these don't have HDMI connections on the back; they connect via the regular SCART cable. Again, it has the remote, which is important. I tested it out; it tuned in fine. Put it up for £22.99. Had a good few offers. In the end, I got an offer of £15, and that was a collected offer, so it was cash on collection. So minus the PayPal fees, it worked out as a good deal. I only paid £2 for it, so I was happy just to flip it for that. Okay. Now here's another interesting one. It's not something I would have picked up normally, but I saw it and I was going to use it for myself because I've got a Wii U console myself, and it's a Wii U gamepad carry case. But in reality, it's not very useful in my opinion. I've got my gamepad just in the dock most times. I don't necessarily need to have it in a case, and as far as I can see, I can't see why you'd need a carry case to carry it around. I don't know where you'd carry the gamepad, but obviously it's of use to someone. But I bought it for £2, I think, and I sold it for a tenner. So nothing spectacular there, small profit, but something just to keep things ticking over. Now this item here, this is a copy of Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3. Now this is for the Nintendo GameCube, and it's actually a charity shop find. Very rare that I find anything like this at a charity shop, so I was very excited to see it. It cost me £1.50 and sold for £11.49, so pretty happy with that. Now this is another good flip. This was bought from a boot fair for £2. It's a brand new sealed Ninja Turtle Battle Shell Raphael action figure. Had it up for a couple of weeks, but had it up for £19.99. I was very happy that I got £19.99. So I paid, like I said, £2 for that. So sealed toys, obviously, it's a bit of a no-brainer, either for Amazon FBA or just for eBay. Sealed anything at a boot fair is worth picking up. Next up, this is a firm favourite of many resellers, and it's the Nike Air Force One trainer. Had it up for £29.99. I think I paid like £2 or £3 for the pair. They're in good condition. They had a little bit of kind of yellowing, but nothing major. They're overall in very good condition. And I think I accepted an offer of like 25 for those, so pretty good. Again, like I said, pick up anything new, a new sealed items at boot fairs. You're not going to pay a lot of money for them, and they've got the bonus of being brand new. And I paid £2 for these Revlon tourmaline ceramic styling irons. So they're not GHDs, they're not fancy, and they were up for a couple of weeks only. They didn't have any watches, but they got a buyer at a full price of £19.7, so £2 to £19. Pretty happy with that, can't complain. Next item, now this is actually quite a cool item. This is a Panasonic Sports CD player. Now, when I actually was at the boot fair to pick this up, I asked the lady that was at the table, how much would you like for this? And she was like, oh, we're looking for £5. And I was like, oh, would you take like 3 maybe, or even 4? And she was like, oh, no, I really want to stick to 5, it's worth £5. And just as I was about to get it for 5, the husband turns up and he's like, I wanted to sell that for 15. Why did you sell it for 5? And he was getting a bit irate, and then he but for some reason he was like, oh, you're lucky she said it for 5. I'll sell it to you for 5. So in the end, I did get it for £5, even though the husband wasn't too pleased. He wanted £15. I mean, if I'd paid £15, which I was considering, I would have considered, to be honest, because CD players are abundant, as you guys know. They're good for resale, but definitely keep an eye out on sports versions. Sports versions have better shock protection, have better features, and are more desirable. And that's the case with this one. Because I only paid a fiver for it, I was happy to just sell it for 30. I did have it up for 40, but I just thought I'd just drop it to 30. I paid a fiver. That's still 6 times what I paid in terms of just raw selling price. So I thought, don't be too greedy, and it sold for £30, and it is going abroad via the global shipping program. Okay, next item. This is something I've had for a while. It's a WWE World Heavyweight Championship Kids Wrestling belt. It came in a job lot of wrestling stuff I bought at auction, wrestling toys. I've already made decent profit on the lot, and I had this up for 35. I got an offer of 25, and I just took it. I was like, yeah, forget it, I'll take it. So I was pretty happy with that. Next item. Okay, so have I actually had? So more comments below. Okay, yeah. Next item. This is quite an interesting one. Again, I could have held out a lot longer to get a better price, but I didn't. But then again, it wasn't in the best condition. Now this is a Gaggia titanium bean to cup coffee machine made in Italy. Now this was initially, like when it was first launched, these are like £1,000 coffee machines, and they're full on all in one coffee machines. Now personally I'm not a huge fan of them because I prefer having a separate grinder and a separate machine, but for saving space they do a great job, and they're very good quality. Now unfortunately this one had seen a lot of use. It had made over 7,000, nearly 7,000 cups of coffee. I had like a few bits that were damaged and missing. I did start it off at like 160, 170, and I did get some interest at that price point, but I just wanted to flip it quickly. I paid £20 for this after some haggling. In the end, I've ended up selling it for 80. So not a massive profit, but still it's £60 more than I paid, even minus the postage, which has cost me like £12 via eBay's discounted parcel force rates. So very happy with that. I've made sure I've double boxed this because I don't want another damaged machine. I normally get my parcels to my customers in great condition, and so I made sure that I bubble wrapped, boxed, double box, and this thing's going to get there absolutely fine, I'm sure of it. So paid 20, sold it for 80, so pretty happy with that. Okay, we're getting down to the last three items now, guys, so thank you for the 3 people that are watching this live and sticking with me. Appreciate it. I hope the stream is okay because it's telling me I've got bad video settings. I'm not sure why that is, but you know, there we go. This one, I bought this copy of Labopoly, which is basically Labrador Monopoly for Labrador lovers. I bought it for £1 during the summer at the boot fair, had it up for £26.49. I got an offer of £15, and I just thought, just sell it, get rid of it. Paid £1, sold it for 15. It's only going to cost me £2.60 to post. Job done. Okay, second to last item. WWE World Wrestling Heavyweight Belt, similar to the one I sold previously that was new, but this one is the slightly rarer Jakks Pacific version from 2003, so it's a bit older, and that went for £19.07. And finally, the final item I'm going to show you guys is this, which is the Jakks Pacific Namco plug and play 5-in-1 console job thingy. And what's cool about this particular item is it's a quick seller, it's a lot of fun as well. I ended up accepting an offer of £17 I think for this, but I paid like £1 for it. It had a bit of rust along the joystick shaft, but I tested it out, it works absolutely fine, so I was more than happy to do that and get rid of it. So those were my sales for the past week and a bit, I think. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Those 3 of you that are watching it live, if you've got any comments and questions, please leave them in the comment section below. This video is obviously going to be up on my YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed watching the stream and found seeing the items that I sell useful information, and obviously, like I said, if you've got any comments, questions, leave them in the comment section and I'll be glad to get back to you. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.